To turn on flight mode on the Nintendo Switch, we just need to press and hold the home button for a couple of seconds to bring up the quick menu. We then need to tap where it says flight mode and it will go from off to on, and if you have a look up here, the Wi-Fi symbol's been replaced with an aeroplane. When you turn on flight mode, you're going to disable the Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi and also the NFC reader, which is the Amiibo reader here. Right now it will work fine in handheld mode, but it will not work in tabletop mode, because when we take the Joy-Cons off here, you can see that they will not light up and it says the Joy-Con controllers cannot be used wirelessly when flight mode is enabled. If we want to change that, we can do. As long as it's safe to do so, we can go to System Settings and then we can go to Flight Mode and we have the option to turn on Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and NFC. So let's turn on the Bluetooth and then the Joy-Cons will start working. And now if you have a look here, now we're still in flight mode, but yet if I take this one off, it's going to light up and now I can use it just like normal. To check your battery level on both the Joy-Con or the controller or your Nintendo Switch is very easy to do. On the Switch itself, we're going to have a battery level up here and a percentage if you have that enabled in the settings. When it comes to the controllers, all we have to do is press the controller icon down at the bottom here, and then you will see that underneath each icon we have a battery level. So this is the Pro controller, you can see it's half full, my Joy-Cons are full and the Switch is half full. If we were to plug one of the Joy-Cons onto here, you can then see that it will move from there up to here, but it will still have the battery level underneath it. And let's say now if we were to start charging it, you can now see that it will change and it will show the things that are being charged. If I was to move this Joy-Con, you can see it's not being charged at the moment. If I was to slide it on, it will now start charging. And it's the same with the Pro controller as well. If I plug in the Pro controller, you will now see that it will have a charge indication underneath it. If you wanted to change the look of your Nintendo Switch, then we have 3 different colours we can choose from. We've got default, which is normal, which is the one you're going to use all the time. We've got invert colours, and we've also got grayscale, which is black and white. So if you have a look here, this is invert colours, and it really does change the look of the Switch. So right now, this is Mario Kart here, and you can see it looks completely different when it's like this. Right, if we wanted to change it to possibly black and white, we can just go to System Settings, and we can go all the way down to System, and then we would go to where it says change display colours, and at the moment it's on invert colours. If we were to change that to grayscale, then you will see everything will become black and white, which does look nice in an old-fashioned way. Right, let's go to Mario Kart again just to show you. You can see now that's what it looks like. And then if you want to get it back to normal, all we do is go to default. Press default, and now everything will be back to normal. If you would like to change your Mii on Mario Kart 8 so you can look different when you play online, then all you have to do is go to the main menu, and then you need to go down to where it says player stats. So you can either move down like this, or you can just tap it with your finger. And now if you have a look up here, we've got an option to press X for player, or again you can just tap it, and this is where you can choose your Mii that you want. And then when you play online, you will now be that Mii character. On your Nintendo Switch, you might be wondering what happens when you run out of rooms for your games. So on the home screen, you can see you've only got so many slots for games and then you run out. Well, on this other Switch here, I can show you what happens. So on this one, we've got more games than the Switch actually allows on the home screen. But if we move all the way over to the right-hand side, you can see we have an option here for all software. And when you click on that then, it will then bring it up in this format here. And then when you go all the way down, you can, in theory, have unlimited amount of games. Just keep on scrolling down. If you would like to use your Nintendo Switch Pro controller as a USB wired controller to reduce the input lag as much as possible, this is very easy to do. We just need to use the charging cable that you got with the controller, and if you're using in dock mode, plug it into a USB port on the dock. If you want to use it in tabletop mode, then just plug it in via a USB-C on the go cable or a USB-C to USB-C cable. Plug it into the bottom of the Nintendo Switch, and we need to change one of the settings. Go to System Settings and go all the way down to Controllers and Sensors, and then go to Pro Controller Wired Communication. When you turn it on, it's just going to warn you that you won't be able to use NFC or Amiibos on the Pro Controller, and then turn that on, so it's now on. And now what we need to do is, if you have a look here, it will be working just fine as it is. If we go to Controllers here, you will now see that it will actually say USB underneath it. If I was to unplug this, it will kick over to the wireless again. Takes a couple of seconds, there you go. And now you can see it's wireless. Plug it back in again and it will automatically go to USB. There we go, USB. If you are wondering whether your Nintendo Switch will work in anybody's dock, then the answer is yes. It is not tied to the dock that you got with your Nintendo Switch. So for example, if you wanted to buy additional docks for other TVs in the house, you can do. Or if you want to bring your Nintendo Switch and plug it into a friend's dock in their house, then you can do that. And then whatever you're playing on your Nintendo Switch will work on their dock. Likewise, when you bring it back home again, it will work straight on your own dock without having to make any adjustments or change anything. There you go. If you are travelling on a long journey and you wish to get the most out of the battery life on your Nintendo Switch, you can press and hold the home button, and then what you can do is you can put it into flight mode. This is going to turn off the Wi-Fi and also the Bluetooth. We won't be able to play online against our friends, but this will help save your battery life. Also, we can reduce the brightness of the screen, because unless it's very bright outside, you should get away with half brightness and it is still completely playable. At night you will be able to even get it even lower and you'll still be able to use it just fine. Lastly, if you want to get a lot of life out your Nintendo Switch, you can buy yourself a power bank. This one here is an Anker one. And then what we would do is we would get a USB cable to a USB-C cable, plug one end of it into the power bank, and then the USB-C we're going to plug into the bottom of our Nintendo Switch, and then you will see now it's going to be charging. And then this will double or triple the battery time on your Nintendo Switch. If you've accidentally knocked off your kickstand at the back of the Nintendo Switch, then don't worry about it, because Nintendo have actually designed it to be easy to put back on again. So the main thing that would happen is you're playing it in tabletop mode and then you forget yourself and you go to put it in docked mode, and what happens is you knock it off like that. But it's really easy to fix. All we have to do is turn it around and place it on in the right position. So you can see now that's the right position there, but it's just sticking up here. Just use a bit of pressure with your thumb and just pop it back into place on the top there. And now you can see your Switch stand will work perfectly fine again. If you can't find your Nintendo Switch Pro controller or your Joy-Cons, there's a handy feature on the Nintendo Switch which will help you find them. Now there has to be some battery life on them for this to work, and also you have to be within Bluetooth range. So if this doesn't work for you, try moving around the house and hopefully you will get closer to the lost controller, which will enable the Nintendo Switch to turn it on and let it vibrate. So at the moment these are all turned off. As you can see, there's no lights on them. All we have to do is go to controllers and go to search for controllers. And then what we have to do is, this will list all the ones that have been previously connected to this Nintendo Switch. So if we've lost this one here, we just need to tap it, and you will see now it will turn it on and it will start vibrating. And then you can move around the house, pressing it, and you can listen out for the sound of that vibrating, and then you will be able to find it. Again, if we were to do this one, same thing again. Yeah, and the Pro controller. And because of the sound it makes, it enables you to be able to pinpoint where it is. If you would like to change the colour of your Nintendo Switch from black to white or white to black, this is easy to do in the settings. All we need to do is go down to System Settings, and then if we look down here you've got an option that says Themes, and then we've got Basic White and Basic Black. At the moment this is the black one. If I was to tap it on the white one up here, it would change to white, and now you can see that the background is white. Again, if you want to change it back to black, just System Settings, Themes, and then Basic Black, and now you can see it's gone back to black. Nice and simple to do, and it does make quite a difference to the look of the Nintendo Switch. There are 3 ways to sync up your Nintendo Switch Pro controller to your Nintendo Switch. At the moment we're working on the bottom one here, so if we want to connect it up to the top one, we can do it wirelessly. We need to go to Controllers, and we need to go to Change Grip Order, and it will come up with this screen here. We then need to press and hold the sync button on top of the controller until the lights at the bottom flash. And then it will search for it and it will find it, and you can see now that it's found it already. Now if we want to connect it back up to the one down here, we can do it via a wired cable. The charging cable that came with it, we plug the USB into the top here, and then we can plug the other end of the USB into the dock, and then when we dock the Nintendo Switch, it will then automatically start syncing onto that one. Or what we can do in tabletop mode, we can use a USB-C on the go cable and we can plug that into there. If you haven't got one of them, we can use a USB-C to USB-C cable and then that will do the same thing. And as you can see, it's now synced up to that one there. So they're the 3 different ways to do it. If you miss the days of using your Wiimote on your Wii as a pointer to move around the screen, then you can do a very similar thing on the Nintendo Switch, but only on certain games. And you're not using a sensor bar, all it's doing is using the motion sensing technology in the Joy-Con to work out where the middle is. So it asks you to point to the middle and press the button to center it, and now it knows that I'm moving up, down, left and right to that point that I centered. If I was to move it over here and press center, it's still going to use that as the middle reference point. So there's a few games that do this. At the moment I've only got World of Goo, but it's still interesting and it works pretty well when you use it. On your Nintendo Switch, if it's annoying you that when you go to turn it on you have to hit the same button 3 times in order to get access to the Nintendo Switch, then we can disable this feature. It's called Screen Lock. So if we go into System Settings, and then if we just go to Screen Lock, you can see at the moment it's turned on. If I was just to tap it to turn it off, then what will happen is next time I go into it, I only need to hit one of the buttons once. So for example now, I'm going to put it into sleep mode. And then if we go back into it now, you will see I only have to hit a button once. And it will get me straight back in there. Obviously if it's off and you want to turn it on, you just go into Screen Lock and turn it on.